Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and now that our Forester is over a year old and it has about 5,100 miles, I think it's time to check, and if necessary, change the air filters that this has. Like most internal combustion engines, the Forester has two air filters. One is for the cabin, and one is for the engine. They're essentially both $20 paper filters to help protect you from harmful particles that could hurt your lungs or could hurt your engine, the pistons, the cylinders, because you don't want any unnecessary particles from the air floating around in either your body or inside your engine. So today we're going to talk about changing out those air filters because they only take a couple minutes. You don't even need any tools to access them on the Subarus, which is pretty cool and not always the case with every brand and every model. But speaking of models, almost every single Subaru, it's the same process. They're all about the same because they're all on the same global platform. So whether you have an Impreza, a Crosstrek, a Legacy, a WRX, an Ascent, an Outback, a Forester, or anything else that I'm missing, you can easily, in just a few minutes, change out both your air filters, the cabin, and the engine, and likely saving yourself at least $50 to $100 compared to if you had to pay for a half an hour or an hour of labor at the service center, which is kind of ridiculous, and it really doesn't take much skill. It really doesn't take a whole lot of effort to change these out. So let's get right into it, and if you get anything out of this video, please consider liking it. Comment your thoughts and opinions below, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you haven't checked your air filters in a while, I highly recommend you do. This is not mechanical advice, this is just common sense. I'll start with the engine air filter first, and if you're not interested in that, you can always skip ahead just a couple minutes. But I want to quickly point out the fact that even after a year, 5,000 miles of driving mostly around town, country roads, a little bit of interstate, but not really any legit off-roading, this engine bay is actually really dusty. There's a decent amount of dirt and debris that has bypassed the seals, that has gone up from underneath the vehicle or seeped in through the crevices in the body panels. So keep in mind, if there's all of this dirt and debris under the hood, just on the black plastic, you know, everything, all the accessories and everything, imagine how much could go into your engine if you don't have a filter blocking it, if it just gets the air straight through the grill, straight through all the dust clouds and everything you drive through. And all that dirt and debris could probably scratch up your pistons, your cylinders, and all the stuff over time and lower the engine life of your vehicle. So this is something that I recommend you check it out and you replace it if necessary at all the service intervals that Subaru recommends. But with that said, it's right here. It's easy to access, easy to get to. So let me set up the tripod and then we'll open that thing right up. For the purpose of this video, I just bought Subaru genuine parts, but this is the box that the Subaru engine air filter comes in. You guys can always go aftermarket if you want. You can get third party from O'Reilly's or AutoZone, but this is what it looks like. Basically just a paper filter, has a lot of paper area, surface area to catch, but also to filter the air, and then kind of a rubberized gasket. And then there is the number on it. So any service center is going to have these on stock. Most of these are honestly interchangeable with all the other Subarus. So even though this one has specific part numbers, you really probably can kind of buy one and it's going to fit almost every Subaru, but also any part store is going to have it. So anyways, there's no tools required. We're just going to pop these clips and see what the filter looks like, and if necessary, we'll change it out for the genuine one. Oh, and always wear gloves and safety glasses and anything else you need. But there's enough compliance in the whole baffling system that it's pretty easy to open. You can see that the air filter looks actually really clean. It's white in color, and the gasket, the rubber portion, goes into the box that leads to the throttle body right there. But if we pull this thing out, holy cow, this thing looks brand spanking new. You can see there's a little bit of dirt in a portion of it, but overall, it actually looks really good. And there's the Subaru Denso parts, probably the same one, made in Japan. Pretty neat, pretty interesting. So because that looks so clean, I think we're just gonna put this back into place. So pull the thing away. And I do wanna mention too, while we're here, check out this. The Subaru box basically has a built-in air filter too, which is really cool. And I have not seen that on every single vehicle. So we'll see how difficult this is to get back in. Just kind of have to finagle and move it around, fit it to the lower box. Before I put the stock filter back in, I actually want to show you guys something really quick. You have to get this lined up really well for those tabs to lock, and especially the first time you unlock the box, they might be a little bit stiff. But you'll also notice that there are 3 tabs on the bottom of this, if you guys can hopefully see that. One there, one in the middle, and then one on the other end. So you do have to get everything lined up for it to go in. I do recommend using 2 hands when you do this on your own, but it's not that difficult to get it lined up. Just make sure that all 3 tabs are in place so that the box is completely sealed and there's not an opening anywhere where unfiltered air could escape and get into the tubing right there to go to the throttle body. And then hopefully from this angle you can see that the filter is in correctly, air is flowing, the gasket is on the inner side closer to the back of the vehicle, and then the bottom, the tabs, everything is in place, and that's why it is such a small angle down there. And then once it's lined up, you just close it up and then use your elbow grease to pop those tabs, which you could probably hear even on camera that those are not easy to push, so just make sure it's lined up before you put all that force into it. So other than those clips being a little bit difficult to push down, it went in really easy. And believe it or not, I'm pretty sure that will save you 20 to 25 bucks worth of labor at least if you were to have a service center do that in addition to other projects. So it's worth saving yourself a little bit of money and doing that yourself if you're comfortable with that. And then while you're under here, just make sure that there's no oil, there's no concerns, nothing really stands out or looks shiny. Make sure that your reservoirs are nice and full. If you need to add some more wiper fluid, you can do that too. Make sure there's no oil coming out of the oil filter or the fill, and the dipstick is in place, and just everything looks good, that you don't see any cracks on your serpentine belt or anything else that stands out from the ordinary. Otherwise, let's move on to the cabin air filter. This is another Subaru genuine part. It could cost about $20 from the dealership. I'd imagine you can find them cheaper online, Amazon, maybe at the parts store. But this is absolutely just a paper filter. It even has the number right there, and then it says up to help you know which way the air flows through it. But you kind of get the same impression from the other filter. It just has a lot of surface area while having not a huge overall footprint. And to change this one, all you have to do is go into the glove box. And then you guys can hopefully see on camera where the glove box attaches and hinges and pivots. You just have to squeeze those in on each side, drop it down, and then you can access the box, that white thing back there. That's where your filter sits, that's its housing. Super easy to get to, so I'm gonna move the camera, squeeze the glove box, drop it down, and we're gonna open that thing up and see what the air filter looks like. So starting from the top, you're gonna open up your glove box, and then if you guys can see this, you can actually pull this off pretty easily. Once that pops off, then we can squeeze both sides, kind of in the top of the middle of the glove box, and then you can see where those would come out of their spot, and then it just hinges down and you can just completely remove the glove box, which is pretty cool. And there you have really good access to the filter housing. You can see where the air would come up, go into the filter, and then go up again through the vents and everything that are higher up. And that's part of the reason why there is the up on the filter, to let you know what side it's actually designed to flow through. I'm hoping you guys can see this okay. There are some tabs on the side of this whole white contraption. You do not need to mess with those or touch those or do anything with them. You're just gonna have to do these 2 tabs up here, and then it hinges right there, or you can pull it off if you separate those, but these are the only 2 tabs that you need to deal with. So push them up at the same time while trying to pull this little flap back. Easier said than done. But then there it is. Now it's detached. As you guys can see, there's those little clips right there that kind of swing or easily come off. But here's the filter. You can see it's aligned correctly, and it looks fairly dirty. So you guys can decide for yourself if that is worth changing, or if it's worth waiting a little while if it was your own application. Sometimes though, if mice or anything get in your car, I have seen images where people have shown that mice have made nests out of this. Or if you ever have a really bad smell in your car that's just not ceasing, not going away, and it's persistent, check your air filter. You don't know what could be in it and could be in the vents. But anyways, imagine that this is the new one. All you have to do to put it back in is just line it back up on the little shelf. If you guys can hopefully see that, these lines, that's the shelf that guides it in, and you would just line it up on the shelf, keeping the up pointed up, and then you could just push this. Line up the bottom feet into those little portions. All right, I'm gonna need 2 hands. I thought I could do it with 1, but I do need 2. And then there's the snap, and it's totally back in place, which is pretty neat. All right, so off camera, the filter has been adjusted. The door has been lined up a little bit better than I could do on the earlier clip while filming. So all the feet, they're pushed in. Everything is set up how it needs to be. So now we can put the glove box back, which is actually really easy to do. I hope you guys can see okay from here, but all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up this pivot point, the feet on each side. Okay, once those are both in and they kind of latch or click into place, Then we're gonna bring it up a little bit just to where we can get this. And if hopefully you guys can see that kind of shock, it can go up, it can go down. So if it's disappeared, you might have to flip it around and then eventually pull it out once you find the hole opening. But once you do, that's easy to push and it clicks into place as well. And then just push the sides near the top the best you can do on the glove box and it fits into place. Or you could basically just slam it in and that probably would work too. But be careful because all these plastic components, they're not super strong. If you take it on and off every day, you're eventually going to weaken the plastics and you don't want to do that. But it is a little bit difficult maybe the first time if you're not familiar with how those things click into place. And then once you do it a few times, it's going to be pretty easy. But to save you 25 to 50 bucks, I mean, I can't complain about that. That was a pretty easy task. So there you have it, guys. And I honestly, probably for the point of demonstration, trying to film and not necessarily always watching where my hands were and what they were doing because I was kind of keeping an eye on the camera screen. It's really easy. You can replace both of these in probably 5 minutes or less. You don't need any tools. You just need the filters, and you can always check the filters before you commit to it. So don't just blindly pay a bunch of money for your filter to be replaced. I highly recommend you guys check them out for yourself, know how to do them, because if you replace your filters once a year, you might spend 40 bucks, but instead of having the dealership or a private shop do that, you might save yourself 50 to 100 bucks. Use that 50 to 100 bucks to go out to dinner, go to the splash pad, the water park, whatever you want to do. I mean, that's on my mind today because it's hot outside. It's like 90 degrees. But anyways, guys, I hope this video is helpful for you. If it was, please consider liking it. Comment your thoughts and opinions below and your filter changing experiences. I really hope this benefits you. Anyways, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, see ya.